Today, three of the most powerful races of all time. The mighty Saiyans taking on the Viltrum Empire taking on Kryptonians. Which one is the most powerful? Well, let's get into it. And just to clarify here, I'm more looking at each of these races as a whole, the average member of each species, not just picking out their strongest members and basing everything around them. Like Superman is basically the exception for the Kryptonians. He's been under the yellow sun for longer than anyone, and same for the likes of Goku and Vegeta, or Invincible and Omni-Man. They're the exceptionally powerful ones and shouldn't be treated like the base level for their species. So starting out, let's take a look at the Viltrumites, and really answer the question, why are the Viltrumites so stinking powerful? Well, it's because they have access to smart atoms, molecularly the same as normal atoms, but they give access to all sorts of powers on the atomic level. And Viltrumites are unique because they can use smart atoms for a whole lot of different powers: super strength, super speed, flight, and they're the only race in the universe to have smart atoms literally encoded inside their DNA. That's what makes them so powerful. And just how powerful are they? Well, some of these Viltrumites are incredibly powerful. I mean, here's just some of the things they've done. Omni-Man could divert a meteor the size of Texas, a moon-level feat. Thrag could fight Battle Beast for 4 days straight and ultimately killed him. All Viltrumites can fly much, much faster than the speed of light. Invincible and Thrag are able to survive fighting in the sun. Invincible has been able to push around a moon. 3 Viltrumites even teamed up to help destroy a planet twice the size of Earth. They've got some serious power. But you also gotta remember, there's like a huge gap between all these different Viltrumites. For instance, you've got the hybrids down at the bottom, who are all so weak that they would literally kill themselves trying to attack higher tier Viltrumites. Then you've got your Viltrumite warriors, who can still be one-shot by Viltrumite elites or anyone on their level. Then you've got your Viltrumite elites, guys like Conquest, Anissa, Omni-Man, and Invincible for most of the series. Then at the tip top, well, you've got Thrag and an Invincible at the end of the series. They're the top 2 Viltrumites in the Empire and can easily beat even elite Viltrumites. So it's not like you'll see a lot of Thrag level characters in the Viltrum Empire. The vast majority of the Viltrumites are not nearly that powerful. But just how powerful is the average Viltrumite? Well, the baseline for Viltrumites has definitely increased over the years, because they kinda self-select through genocide and weed out the weak. Meaning that average is definitely a subjective term here. You kill the bottom 90% of Viltrumites, and the remaining group suddenly has a new average, albeit a much stronger one. So for an average warrior, well, you're basically looking at a young mark. I think that's the best that we can see for what's an average in the Viltrumite race. Able to lift 400 tons, he can train himself to lift more, he can fly faster than the speed of sound and near the speed of light. While Omni-Man did destroy him in a fight, Mark at least survived the fight. I think that's kind of the baseline for what the average Viltrumite can do. But what about Saiyans? Well, I think the best gauge we have for what an average Saiyan is around 1,000 in power level. Frieza tags the Saiyan snipers and Broly at 2,000 and says that they're rather impressive. So it's pretty clear that 2,000 is a pretty high bar for your average Saiyan. Raditz, who grows into an adult of around 1,500, was apparently not considered to be material for a castaway baby as Goku is. So that also helps to give us an idea that 1,000 plus is probably on the high end of average. We also saw that Beats, who isn't a fighter Saiyan, said that Broly's reading of 920 as a baby was higher than his own, And again, that works out. If 2000 is pretty high for a Saiyan, then anything above 1000 is an average to an above average fighter. Now, all that does raise the question of why. With less than a year of training in high gravity, Goku managed to raise his power level from about 400 to over 9,000, or a 20 times increase. From there, he goes from a power level of around 10,000 to 90,000 in just 6 days of intense solo training. Why aren't other Saiyans doing this? Especially considering the Saiyans had all the warriors they could want to train with, they had all sorts of training tech at their disposal. Feels like they should be a bit stronger on average, especially because we know just how quickly Saiyans can increase their power level. But that's just overthinking it a little bit. It might just be a plot hole. I think this is a pretty fair shot at how powerful an average Saiyan is. They might not necessarily be planet busters, but they are able to destroy cities and possibly work their way up to destroying the moon, but never really a full-on planet. And lastly, well, we've got Kryptonians. And here I mean a Kryptonian exposed to a yellow sun. Because outside of that, Kryptonians are just as powerful as normal humans. Under a red sun, well, they're powerless and nothing special. And here's the scary thing. Superman is definitely the exception to the Kryptonian race, as he's been under a yellow sun for longer than anyone else. But he's also the average Kryptonian. I mean that in the sense of there's nothing really special about Superman. Now, that does kind of depend on the writer, I will say that, because some writers like to explore the idea that the House of El is set apart and are actually descended from the Kryptonian god of sun, so therefore Kal-El is like a Kryptonian demigod and has a higher potential level than your average Kryptonian. But then other stories explore the idea that there's really nothing special about Superman. He just landed on Earth as a baby and has been absorbing the yellow sun since then. Any other Kryptonian put in his shoes would have ended up the exact same way. Live on the Earth since a baby, and they're as powerful as Superman. It's part of the reason why the Guardians of the Universe in the Green Lantern Corps were terrified of the Kryptonians, and intentionally put them in a part of the universe that didn't have a yellow sun, because a planet filled with Superman-level beings is absolutely terrifying. And that means that the average Kryptonian is easily the most powerful being here. If just by being under a yellow sun, that makes you even 1/10 as powerful as Superman, which we've seen that's roughly the case for your average Kryptonian, well, it's exponentially more powerful than your average Viltrumite or your average Saiyan. It's not even close. In my mind, it goes Kryptonians, Saiyans, and then Viltrumites. But the average Saiyan and the average Viltrumite is easily close enough that you can flip one for the other and I won't fight you. Either way, a Kryptonian is on a whole other tier level compared to the other two. They'll definitely take it here. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.